Good evening, everybody. My name is Stan Pike, and I'm the Water Safety Officer with the RNLI here in Skerries. So welcome to this presentation in advance of your return to rowing. Obviously, we wish you a safe and enjoyable season of rowing. The purpose of tonight's session is to go over a few safety precautions that you need to be aware of and which many of you are already practicing. So first thing is the difference between a buoyancy jacket, buoyancy aid, and a life jacket. A buoyancy aid, such as I'm holding in my hand here, will simply keep you afloat in the water, whereas a life jacket, similar to what I'm wearing, will actually flip me over if I fall into the water and make sure that I stay face up in the water and allow myself to breathe. Some things to note about both life jackets and buoyancy aids, and in advance of this you would have received a video through Marie on the RNLI websites which give you an introduction to managing and maintenance of your buoyancy aid and life jackets. But primarily you need to make sure that the buoyancy aid or the life jacket fits you properly. So one of the things we see with a lot of buoyancy aids is, particularly with younger children, is that they tend to be very loose fitting and visibly loose on them, which means that if they go into the water, there is a huge risk that the buoyancy aid will literally float up over their head and become useless. Similarly, with a life jacket, you will have seen on the video, one of the things is a correct fit. Now, you'll notice that I can just about put my fist in here, as opposed to having loads of room on the life jacket, and it looks as if it's fairly snug fit. You'll also notice that I'm wearing the crotch straps. Now, we get a lot of questions about crotch straps, that sometimes the life jacket doesn't come with crotch straps fitted. But if the life jacket deploys, the first thing is the bladders inflate and come up around your neck. If the life jacket isn't fitted properly, there is a risk that you're going to fight with your airways to be cleared, because the life jacket is quite tight around your neck. And also your feet will stay straight down in the water with no crotch strap fitted. Whereas if the crotch strap is fitted, it naturally brings you up into a fetal position, so it allows you to be legs up in the water and your hands underneath the life jacket for warmth, and you wait until you're collected. So once again, it's critically important that this is fitted properly. So at the end of the winter season, and particularly the COVID lockdown, we now have a couple of life jackets which we tend to see a lot of, particularly once they're opened up. And please don't be afraid about opening up your life jacket to check it out, because in this situation here we see an example of a gas bottle that is pretty much rotten. In fact, the plastic band, a rubber band, has made a mark on the gas bottle here, and you can see that it's very heavily corroded. And if we now check the bottle, we'll notice that in the bottom of the bottle there is a pinhole, and this indicates that this bottle has been fired at some stage and it's no longer suitable for deploying the life jacket. So in other words, it's used and should be discarded. But the other giveaway sign is that on the firing mechanism we can see a red stripe here and a green button or tab down the bottom. Now, quite often we look at the green tab and assume because there's a green tab there, everything is okay. But once you see red here and don't see green, this mechanism is no longer suitable. It should be changed. And it's quite easy to do. You can go along, the bottom screws off. You can buy a replacement mechanism and fit it quite easily. And if you bring it to the shops that retail it and you don't know how to do it, they should assist in doing that. But it's obviously important that your life jacket is in a position or likely to go off if you don't, or rather if you do fall into the water. So something like this needs to be, for the sake of a few euro, please take the time to spend the money and get it replaced. Now, these three life jackets have been inflated over the last couple of days. One was done at the start of the week, one was done a couple of days ago, and one was done last night. And we can see quite clearly that there's a difference in the firmness of the bladders. So this is a kind of a test or a check that you can do during the winter season or the off-rowing season to make sure that the life jacket is still functioning. Obviously, we don't recommend that you fire the cylinder, but if you were at the end of the season and like this one, you wanted to know if it's still working or not, pull the mechanism, nothing happens, and again, if we check that one, we know that it has it's no longer valid or working properly. But with the life jacket, again on this one we can see that the pin here has, or the clip around the red mechanism is gone, so this should be displayed as green and needs to be replaced. So all of these jackets, life jackets, need to have the gas bottles replaced so that they're in a position to be working properly. Now, in the event that you fall into the water, all life jackets will include, so we can see the way we have a green mechanism here, there's a lot of corrosion around there, and you can check these yourselves, but really the less corrosion the better, because it's anything that's there is compromising the efficiency of the firing mechanism, and that's not what you want if you fall in. However, in the event that you do fall in, as they say on all the best airlines, you do have a tube that you can blow through. Having checked this and made sure that it's working okay, we now want to deflate it, and what you don't want to do is cause anything that compromises the deflation mechanism here, or the valve. So we use the little protrusion on the end of this to deflate the jacket. It takes a few moments to do so. You may not pick it up on the soundtrack, but we can see that this is now going down. If you use a sharp object like a pen or a screwdriver, there is a risk that this might not release back up, and there are examples where this is jammed, which means that if the life jacket deploys, it's straight away letting the air out of the bladder, and there have been cases where there have been fatalities because life jackets haven't engaged properly due to a trapped valve there. So that's quite an important thing. So take the few moments extra to deflate the valve before you pack it all away. So, and this is another example of a different make of life jacket. One of the questions we get asked with the RNLI is like, what life jacket do you recommend? We don't recommend any particular make of life jacket. We do recommend that you buy from recognised retailers who normally stock quality product that will meet the requirements that you need for your water safety requirements. So any life jacket will have, on this one here, we have a mechanism here that is showing the green tab, green button, and we can then check the bottle and make sure that that's okay. So, that being said, we'd still encourage you to check your life jacket before you go on the water. Get used to the one that you have, fold it out, put it away, pack it away, and make sure that you're safe for going on for an enjoyable season. So we move on to the next topic. Thank you.